News at 1. As the year 2023 gradually winds down, health correspondent progress. And Bagi, the natives of the FCT, wrap up the year with cultural display at the annual Nyanya Bagi Day.
A warm welcome and thank you very much for joining us on the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. I am Mariam Abubakar Kana. Compliments of the season. Activities of the FCT health sector in the year 2023 indicates notable progress in healthcare accessibility, innovative programs, and collaborative efforts. All this coupled with strategic partnerships enhance patient care and well-being of the residents. Hakimat Aliyu in this annual review brings us the highlights.
Popular for the sector, with the completion training of staff was not left out in the year under review on quality health care. 2020 was launched, as well as the national guidelines for state-funded procurement of family planning commodities. No doubt, challenges persist, but ongoing initiatives demonstrate a commitment to addressing them, with dedication of healthcare professionals and the community engagement, underscoring FCT's resilience in promoting a healthier future. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliyu, NTA News.
The Bagi people are known for their unique cultural heritage, which sets them apart from others, especially in their native home of the FCT. The Bagi native culture does not only indicate social identity and relevance, but also serves as a vehicle of sensitizing the people to aspirations of family lineage. Onotu Yakubu in this report brings us insights into the significance of the Bagi culture as the old and young gather in Nyanya in reverence to this year's celebration of annual Bagi Cultural Day.
The Bagi national colors represent the people's journey, and so whenever occasions present them opportunities to fly it, it is like a homecoming for the Bagi descents. From the cultivation patterns, the food, acts of war, dance, artifacts, hunting, and many more, it is Renaissance blends modernity.
It is unfortunate that our people have forsaken our cultures and traditions, but that is not what civilizations say. Therefore, we should embrace our culture.
We're trying to impart this culture into the children, both the boys and the girls, so that they know that this is our culture, this is our values, these are how things are made, these are how things are called in their original nature. The secret of the culture is in this language that we speak. There is no way you can practice your culture if you don't understand your language. So for Bagi, the takeaway today is that we should learn how to speak our language. From the day you give birth to your child, begin to speak the language with that.
The palace of the Sanyanyai played hosts to the event, and the people left nothing to chance with a sense of pride. This war party is led by the Wakili Nyanya. What they have come to do is to reassure the Sanyanya that there is no cause for worry, as his territory is fully fortified.
I am a warrior, so anytime that the warrior's drum is beating, that spirit will be awakening, and you have to. You don't even know when you jump into it. That was just it.
It's our joy that even a more generation to come, it will be appreciated more than this.
Even politically, we can't hold sway to our land if we lose the political power. So all of these are things that we must give deliberate attention to, and this event is one we will support. Let it continue, so our younger generation will have a knowledge of what we do.
For some of the dignitaries, the need to protect the Bagi heritage from the threat of modernity need not be emphasized, and therefore are full of praises for the organizers of the annual event.
It's very important for us. We don't want to forget our culture. We don't want our children to forget their culture. Our children yet unborn, we don't want them to forget our culture.
It has shown what Dagi man is all about. Is it the hunters? Is it the wrestlers? Is it the chiefs? Is it the youth? All we have converged here as one body.
While recanting the fond memories and beauty the Baggy culture holds, their apprehension is globalization and its negative influence, but however, advised that such culture contact and acculturation can be explored to preserve the values of the people. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Moving on, the essence of the creation of NYSC was no other reason than to create a platform through which Nigerians can interact and integrate. This is why core members are posted to states other than their states of origin to serve for a period of 1 year. But how has the FCT NYSC fared in carrying out this mandate? Charity Zaka in this report highlights advantages of the scheme that many describe as a promoter of unity in diversity.
The first stanza of the NYSC anthem is a clarion call on Nigerian youth to channel their youthfulness into taking Nigeria to the right path by contributing their quota to nation building. Then the swearing in, which marks the commencement of the orientation course for the period of 3 weeks.
To defend our unity.
In the year 2023, there has been batches of orientation programs in the FCT with core members completing their service here and many currently integrated into the nation's workforce, either in public, private or self-employment. Many have developed their practical skills from knowledge given at the NYSC orientation programs.
We've learned to be more punctual, we've learned to be more courageous.
Aside the physical drilling exercise, core members are also imparted with skills acquisition programs to help them become self-reliant, which will enable them cope with the economic reality in Nigeria to further help empower the core members' private organizations, extended support with trainings.
And I thank them for making me learn, because this opportunity is not just a place for winning prize, but it's also a place for learning.
The impact of the NYSC on society in the year under review cannot be adequately measured in physical terms, especially as regards thousands that served as engineers, technicians in institutions of learning, as teachers in public schools in the 6 area councils of the FCT. National Youth Service core members in 2023 were also very useful in the health sector, filling in the gap for shortfall of medical doctors, lab scientists, veterinary service providers, and several other health workers.
This set of core members have been posted according to their areas of discipline and specialization across the 6 area councils of the FCT.
In the art and creative sectors, core members were engaged with cultural festivals and showcased the rich diversity in the Nigerian culture. FCT received a total number of 31,318 core members in the year 2023. The NYSC scheme has continued to foster unity among different ethnic groups in the country, as well as exposing the core members to different customs and traditions of these ethnic groups. These will further help in ensuring that Nigerian customs and traditions do not go into extinction.
It brings all of us together. We have different people in different culture coming together to celebrate each other, which I think is very fantastic.
Charity Zaka, NTA News.
You are watching the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Still to come on the news. Body of late SP Hawa Talatu Kadri of the Nigerian Police Force finally laid to rest at Gudu Cemetery amidst outpour of emotions. This and more in just a moment.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
We celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The native station NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Let's join the foreign desk for the Globe this week. Over to you, Serafina, in compliments of the season. Compliments of the season and many thanks. Ukraine for the fourth time breaks Russia's long tradition, marks Christmas December 25, and dozens killed in failed tanker blast in Liberia. This is the Global Foreign News segment that gives you a unique perspective into happenings around the world. I am Serafina Okon-Omekwe. For the fourth time in a century, Ukraine has celebrated the holiday and Christmas December 25 rather than January 7th. Ukraine's government passed legislation in July making the date change in what was viewed as a snub to Russia and the Russian Orthodox Church, which follows the Roman-era Julian calendar for religious occasions. The law signed by President Volodymyr Zelensky noted that Ukrainians wanted to live their own life with their own tradition and holidays, which now allows them to abandon the Russian heritage of imposing Christmas January 7th. And now to migration matters. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has held talks with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador as great migration crisis causes chaos on their shared border. The high-level meeting came as pressure grows on the White House to stem the influx of migrants to the U.S. U.S. officials said last week that more than 10,000 people were crossing the southern border every day. Mr. López Obrador is willing to limit people crossing border towards the U.S. But speaking ahead of the summit in his country's capital, Mexico City, he called for more efforts to address the root causes of migration and warned that it could become a key issue in the 2024 U.S. elections. The figures have now become a political vulnerability for Mr. Biden, with the Republican-controlled House of Representatives refusing to allocate new military funding to support Ukraine without the commitment to reinforce the border. And on a sad note, a failed truck crashed on Tuesday into Total, Liberia, killing dozens of persons, and some already hospitalized with serious burns, and their toll could rise. A failed truck crashed Tuesday into Total, Lower Bon County in Liberia, killing dozens of its citizens. Meanwhile, the United Nations says poor road safety and weak infrastructure have made sub-Saharan Africa the world's deadliest region for crashes, with the fatality rate 3 times higher than the European average. And that is it on the Globe this week. I hand you over to Mariam for the continuation of the news. I am Serafina Okon-Omekwe. Compliments. Many thanks, Serafina. It is 3 days after Christmas celebration. Work has resumed and people are expected back to their various business places. Odiri Ogboru Arutere went to some areas in the city center, and here are her findings.
I am right in the ever-busy Area 8. We call it a business hub because most of the banks in the city center are located right here in Area 8. The situation right now on the Thursday morning, 3 days after the Christmas celebration, the place is deserted as few persons are spotted around the banks trying to go in and out for their transactions. I have with me here one of the passers-by, Mr. Godwin Ama.
Area 8. On a usual day, on a normal day, if you come here, you see people moving about doing their regular business. I'm surprised that so many people traveled. And Area 8 is just like a shadow of itself. So I came to do a small business, though I'm still going to my workplace. But truly, people have traveled home.
All the way from raw material, Maitama. Right now, I'm going to the Women Development Center. The city is, right now, it's very scanty. So many persons have traveled, even from where I'm coming from. The office there, everywhere is scanty because of the festive period. That is what I can see happening around.
Atmosphere in the city is quite a bit scanty. A lot of people have traveled out for their Yuletide, especially as it concerns the season. So going out, coming in has been quite easy because there are very few people around.
As I was coming now, I saw a lot of scanty movement, skeletal movement. It's not what it used to be, but it's because of the Holy Week. And we're entering the new year. Most people have traveled and some are observing the holiday in their various houses.
Behind me is the Federal Secretariat Complex. On a normal day, it's a beehive of activity, but today activity is on a low ebb as few workers are spotted moving in and out of the complex. In Abuja, Odiri Ogboru Arutere, NTA News.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
We celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
Jama'a barkanmu da wannan
The native station NTA Channel 5, Abuja
would say have a lovely day.
Let's join the sport text for Sports Brief.
In the only game of the Nigerian Premier Football League Week 16 match on Wednesday, Sunshine Stars of Akure got a boost with a 2-0 home victory over second-place Doma United as they now occupy 8th place in the NPFL standings. Other Week 16 fixtures are slated for this Thursday with interesting matches across different stadia in the country. Still on football, Wednesday English Premier League football produced 2 away victories with defending champions Manchester City coming from a goal down at Goodison Park to win 3-1 against Everton as the Citizens still sit fourth on the EPL table with Week 19 game in hand, while Wolverhampton Wanderers got their second victory in a row with a super 4-1 win over Brentford. Chelsea at home got a late 2-1 winner over Crystal Palace to make its 7th win in this season after 19 games that have left them in the 10th position on the log. Talking boxing, the Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren wants to see Anthony Joshua take on Daniel Dubois following their respective wins in this December. This is coming after former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, who was supposed to be Joshua's next opponent, failed to win his fight against Joseph Parker. As Joshua will now be left to scope for a heavyweight fighting opponent. With Sports Brief, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
On a sad note, emotions were let loose among family members of Adam Makadri with the demise of their daughter and sister, Superintendent of Police Hawa Talatu Kadri, who passed on a few days to Christmas. Deborah Gazaji reports that the body of SP Hawa Talatu Kadri has been laid to rest at Gudu Cemetery.
The separation of Hawa Talatu Kadri from loved ones, including the deceased sister Hadiza Godwin Ebune and Assistant Manager News and Current Affairs with the NTA Channel 5 Abuja, has been described as irreplaceable by family and friends. Until her death, Superintendent of Police Hawa Talatu Kadri was the officer in charge of Day Pantekas Police Outpost under the Gwagwa Division of the FCT Police Command. SP Kadri's body was accompanied to the Gudu Cemetery for final interment, according to Christian funeral rites and full police service burial honors.
I'll miss a lot of things. Lots of things about my elder sister, Hawa, which I formerly called her Big Mama because I gave her the name. I'm always calling her Big Mama. Even long before my mom died, I always call her Big Mama. Even at this stage and age of my life, she still treats me like the younger sister she used to know.
Before the committer to Mother Earth, Pastor Imadi Emmanuel of the Dunamis International Gospel Center, Saburi 1, urged everyone to always reflect on the last day as he asked the question, how profitable is your life before God and man? Superintendent of Police Hawatalato Kadri is survived by her siblings and children, among whom is Adiza Godwin Ebuni of the NTA in Abuja. Deborah Gazaji Micah, NTA News.
May her soul rest in perfect peace. On that note, we conclude our bulletin for the 1 p.m. news. But before we go, a quick review of some of our top stories. We reported to you that as the year 2023 gradually winds down, health correspondent reviews activities of the FCT sector with notable progress. And Bagi, the natives of the FCT, wrap up the year with cultural display at the annual Nyanya Bagi Day. Thank you very much for watching the news at 1. More news at 7 p.m. Good afternoon.